This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask with your host, Dr. Judith Briles. On the show today, you'll find out where book publishing is going and how to take advantage of it. How to identify and avoid publishing predators. What opportunities are emerging as the book trade evolves in new forms. How to avoid losing money and much, much more. Join us now as a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take the author to the next level of publishing. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by AuthorU and the Book Shepherd. And now, here's your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, we're a month past our annual author extravaganza, and it was an author extravaganza. It's the first time ever I've done an event that no one has grumbled about the room temperature, and no one grumbled about food. I mean, what a home run. But one of the things I grumbled about was the quality, and this was consistent with so many of these top-notch presenters, the quality of their slides, which all I could describe was mediocre at best. Well, what is one to do? And so I reached out to someone I know who is a star in creating slides and presentations, especially remote and on webinars. So with us, my special guest is Dr. Jaclyn Kostner. She is an award-winning webinar guru to dozens of Fortune 500 companies, including little places like Microsoft, Comcast, Cisco. She's the author herself of 12 books, including the bestsellers Virtual Leadership that Warner Books published years ago. And she's a PowerPoint magician extraordinaire that's launched a very successful new online course that we're going to tell you a little bit about as we progress through our hour today. And it's going to be, I'll just tell you, it'll be available for you to engage with at engagement-u.com. And the title is Graphic Secrets of Eye-Popping PowerPoint Slides. So in the course, everyone learns how to transform boring, and I mean boring slides, into engaging ones in 1 minute or less per slide. So she'll have something special to offer to our listeners today. But we're going to talk about the ins and outs of presentations, how to really engage, how to get the brain candy going so it's eye candy, and so much more to make you effective on any platform, whether it's virtual or in person, and take you to another level. And you know what the result is? You're going to sell a lot more books. So, Jackie, welcome to AuthorU, your guide to book publishing.
It is a delight to be with you and with your listeners, Judith.
So here we go. So, you know what? Why don't we just kind of give a little bit of background on you? You and I go back over 20 years. Can you believe that? You always were a girl geek. You know, you always were someone who embraced technology and figured out kind of what the next wave was. It was. And you were thinking about in the whole webinar circuit before everybody else was even doing anything.
Well, it's an exciting form of work. And yes, I am kind of a nerd related to this, but kind of a creative nerd. I really love what technology can do to make us reach more people. And that's the standpoint that I come from. You know, a lot of people, when they're doing webinars, they think it's really all about just, let me go ahead and present my slides. It's never that. We need to be thinking a lot more about engaging and entertaining our audience.
Which is a given because that's what they remember. And so let's just jump into some of the things that you found, Jackie, that have worked and haven't worked. Why don't we hit on some of those?
I'm happy to talk about those. You know, we're in a different age, and most people that have learned PowerPoint learn just how to operate PowerPoint. That means how to load your slides, type some content on it, and show it on a projector. Those are not enough skills today. Up to the year 2000, we probably got away with it because at that time, people's attention span was your age plus 10. So if you were 30 years old, you would listen for about 40 seconds before you would become disengaged. Today, it's a whole different ballgame. that the average person today will only listen for about 8 seconds. This is from a study. A goldfish actually gives more attention than people do. Yeah, this is all about the mobile phone, what the mobile phones have done to our world. They've changed everything about our attention span. So we can't get away with those boring slides anymore.
Wow. That's almost like when we talked, Jackie, about book covers. You've got 3 up to 7 seconds to get the attention. And so what you're saying is that 8 seconds and they're out of there. And
Absolutely.
You know what? I have seen that. I always watch people at programs, when I am attendee, and how quickly it takes them to get their mobile up before they're starting to surf.
It's the way of the world. Short attention span audiences, that's what it's all about today.
Oh, my gosh. So now we have a new 8-second rule to penetrate. Okay. All right. So we're on to that. So with that, I'm going from 40 seconds, which seems actually pretty short, but people would be a little patient, now to an 8-second grab on an audio piece. That's humongous.
It really is. When you give a great presentation, you have to give a great presentation verbally. You've got to have a great message, great stories, all the things that you teach people to do. But slides used to almost make your presentation less effective. They were almost like a disruptor, something that pulled down the energy of your presentation. Today, that's not true. Really, there is so much automated capability in today's slides and in all the options that are available to us that anybody, no matter if you're a graphic geek like me or someone that really has had no graphics training, you really can create very beautiful slides.
And that's the plus. So let's talk about that. So what are some of the tools that are must-haves? And then maybe there's some that would be nice to have, but they may be pricey. So I always love to go from free to fee, Jackie. I think that's always good. Let's go from free to fee really quickly. All right.
There is. Well, there's just, excuse me, Judith. There's just no question that today, anybody who's presenting, really 90% of the presenters out there need to have graphics training on PowerPoint. They need to learn how to make them a lot more exciting to look at. So the first thing that I would say people need to do is they really need to make that first slide, that slide you put up in front of the room before you say your first words, or when you say your first words, or when you are just putting it out on your YouTube video. It has got to really just absolutely grab people's attention. So just think about this. Let's say it's just a plain old slide, and we put on there, how to conserve water in Colorado. Sounds boring, the boring words on a boring slide. No one's going to be paying attention to that. But if, on the other hand, through all these automated slides and these other resources you can use, you put a picture of a stream coming down from the mountains. Maybe it's a waterfall. Maybe it's a rushing river coming down there. And maybe on that title slide, you also have a picture of a deer next to the water, or maybe a bear, or you have people that are camping. Something where you put people in it always helps. And then you put your title, How to Conserve This Beauty for Future Generations. You've got a whole different mindset that happens and a whole different level of engagement, and that slide helps you to create that energy with your audience when you start speaking.
All right, so I love that. So, I always love putting visuals anyway on the opening slide instead of just words. I've always done that. But I love to do the tweak, Jackie. I think that's a great idea, to do the tweak of putting the viewer, let's say I'm going to put the viewer into the place of what the image is, or you do a juxtaposition of it.
That's right. And what's really beautiful is that in the new Microsoft 365, for example, on the PC, they have these flexible slides, and it's almost like you have a robot to help you to create these slides, a graphics robot. So if you don't have the talent, it does, and it'll help you to create a beautiful template. When you bring in a picture, it helps to embed that picture into the slide. So you don't have that same old boring look and feel. When you think about the old slides, they would be mostly white in the background, and they'd have maybe this little bit of color at the top where the heading would be, like if you have a content slide with bullets. and you'd see this slide after slide after slide. The same look, no images, nothing. This is boring to us. It's boring to everybody. It always was boring. But you just can't do that today because it is a ticket to failure if you don't ramp up your slides. You need to make sure that you are engaging your audience by helping to make your content look more emotionally happy, emotionally beneficial, emotionally something that we are both here to learn more about. It works like magic.
Well, you know what you're saying, which is it's my gosh, it's the old marketing stuff. You have got to engage them on an emotional level to get them to buy in from the get-go. And if you don't, it is the click off. So why have people avoided that? I mean, is that they don't know how to do it? Do they think it's too much hard work? Or do they think that it just wasn't necessary? Or what do you think they're thinking when they stay with the same old?
I think it's all of the above, Judith. And the fact of the matter is, that's why I created this course, was I saw that people didn't know how to do it. The last time they had a crayon on their hand, they were back in kindergarten. And that's the last time they drew and the last time that they had any kind of fun with art. Really, PowerPoint slides are fun to create when you learn how to do it. So I put the course together so that anybody, whether you're graphics challenged or whether you're graphics talented, that you can learn how to tap into the power of creating amazing looking slides when you are using PowerPoint. And that's what the whole course focuses on. It gives you the maximum amount of learning in the shortest period of time, and everything can be used immediately. You learn 10 minutes, you can apply it right away, and your slides are going to be better.
Well, that kind of teaching method is what really, really works as you go back and forth. And when you can immediately implement what you saw, what you see, that's part of the emotional engagement on my part. That's where I would see it or have the fun. And it does when, going back to the old year, I never could imagine why I didn't get it, why they didn't always use images, because I sure did. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. With us is Jaclyn Kostner. We're talking about the magic of creating emotionally engaging slides.
Is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Is there a book in you or another? AuthorU will show you how to create, develop, and publish your book without being hoodwinked. If you already have a book out, you'll find a supportive and brainstorming community that's connected and creative no matter where you live. AuthorU brings in national experts for its book camps and annual author extravaganza held each May. It has regular meetings and delivers webinars for its members on timely topics. Through AuthorU's extensive network, members enjoy exclusive benefits, including significant discounts for a variety of services necessary to publishing. The Resource, its online book publishing news magazine, is content heavy and it's free. If you want to create a book that has pizzazz, punch, and panache, AuthorU is for you. If you're a hobbyist or a casual author, it's not. Join AuthorU today through its website at AuthorU.org. Follow AuthorU on Twitter at AuthorU and on Facebook at AuthorU, where timely author and publishing tips and articles are posted daily. AuthorU, where the author goes to become seriously successful.
First impressions are everything in the world of book publishing. Whether your book is an ebook, a print version, or both, your book cover needs to pop, sizzle, and sparkle to immediately capture the attention of your audience. And your book's interior needs to be just as dynamic and reflect the professionalism your readers demand. Nick Sellinger of NZ Graphics has won numerous national and international book awards for his cover designs and interior layouts. With over 20 years of experience in graphic design, he knows what it takes to create award-winning books and the many promotional pieces that authors need, such as posters, banners, postcards, one-sheets, business cards, logos, and more. Visit ncgraphics.com and see what authors and publishers have to say about their award-winning books and how NZ Graphics can make your book the success it was meant to be. That's nzgraphics.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right. Are you a speaker? Do you want to speak? Do you want to have visual support for key points or to lead off or to stay connected with an audience? PowerPoint is probably going to be the primary factor that you will use in creating a slide. I mean, I remember in the old days, we used to have these slide projectors and we'd have to click these things going, as they go around on the wheel, right? Those days are past. And going in that with it, we have a PowerPoint magician, Dr. Jaclyn Kostner, who is an author herself of 12 books. She has a brand new spanking online course on how to really create stunning, engaging, bring her back slides for every presentation, whether it's for a group of 5 or if it's an audience of thousands. So, Jaclyn, let's talk about how we really make some of these slides pop. I love your tip on how do you create an opening slide. It's just not with words. It's an engaging imagery that actually starts the emotional trigger, kind of like the Pavlovian thing. This, start getting them salivating in the beginning. I think that's what you're saying. All right. So how do
it is? That's a great analogy.
Yeah, I've got to think, get your audiences, how to get your audience to salivate from the first slide forward. All right, so with that, how do we look in using some of the images?
Well, it may surprise people to learn that, particularly if you're using your presentation to sell your books, to reach other audiences for motivational purposes, for training, for marketing, every slide should include an image. Now, that's kind of surprising for most people. And the kind of image that you want to put on there, most of them should be about people. So let's say that you're trying to sell some kind of technology. Don't put a picture of what the screen looks like. That's boring. Show a picture of somebody using the technology. So whatever your topic is, whether it's healthcare or motivation or leadership or whatever, teamwork, you want to make sure that you are finding images that kind of relay that, an image that would be appropriate on each slide. That's one of the key ways to motivate people. Let me just also say that there is nothing that will engage people more than looking at a human face in an image. So if a human face is looking right at you, great eye contact, that's probably the strongest image of all. But any image with happy people is good.
Happy people. So, because people do want to be happy.
They do. Even if your topic is conflict, you want to show pictures of people that have resolved the conflict. You might want to show a picture where they haven't resolved the conflict yet, and then they get to where they do resolve it. But what's important is the images help to expand that picture to your audience of what you're trying to communicate. A picture's worth 1,000 words, and it's not just 1,000 words. A picture's worth 1,000 emotions. You want to get in there and have an image that allows people to really see what you're talking about. So there's some pretty great sources for images for people. One of the free sources that I will use a lot is called Pixabay.com, Pixabay.com. And it's a site, you can sign up for it, and they've got images that are royalty-free images that you can get the rights to use. There are millions of images out on the internet. You can't just go out and help yourself. If you're going to use images, you need to get ones that are licensed to be royalty-free to you. And those would come from a free site like Pixabay, or it might come from a subscription site like Adobe Stock or Getty Images or 123RF. Those subscription services usually run an average of about $3 an image. It's really very reasonable, and you get use of that image for the rest of your life. So it's really a pretty good deal. But all you do is put in a keyword, and you get these array of the most amazing images.
And you can keep playing. You need to keep playing around. I'm a big fan of Pixabay. I use it all the time. And I want to tell our listeners is you basically ignore the first line. Those are the ones you can pay for. Everything below it is free. And you just keep exploring. So
that's how Pixabay.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That's Pixabay.
There's a little bit of overtalk on this. I'm sorry, Judith.
Yeah, that's Pixabay. That's how it works. But I just ignore the first line, and you can actually see, copyright wording across it. And then you just drop down, and everything else is free. And I think also it's important to, you said keywords, to keep switching them around, because some things are loaded under other areas that could be the exact perfect fit for you. And that you just didn't have the right keyword for it, or someone loaded it into a different keyword. And so play. I think what we're saying is explore a little bit when you're on these sites.
That's exactly right. I think that when you are looking at Pixabay, many of us, when we think about, let's say, leadership, we're going to have some images that come to mind of people in our lives that were leaders. But when you get into the PowerPoint, you're going to need a lot of different kinds of slides with lots of different kinds of people in different kinds of situations. And so we want to put in the keywords that might bring up those images. As you said, on Pixabay, the first line of images are sponsored images. And those are the ones that are from the subscription sites that you'll pay about $3 a piece for those. You have the rights to use. But the Pixabay underneath, the images are amazing, and you can go in and select the ones through a keyword. So if I were doing a presentation on leadership, I'd put in the word leadership, and I'd grab any images there that looked good. And then I would probably also think about, well, what do leaders do? They lead teams, and so I'd probably put the word team in there. And I might put in team happy or team retreat. I might put in other words that help me to bring up images that would make the content on that slide a whole lot more relevant and a whole lot more interesting.
Mm-hmm. And also, when you've mentioned it's always good to use people. I think that if you're going to use people in your slides, that you might want to try to find pictures with people in them that would be reflective of the audience that's in front of you. So if you're dealing with all, let's say, seniors, you probably don't want to have a whole bunch of millennials as your example. But could I be wrong here, Jackie, or what do you think?
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. We need to make sure that it fits our audience.
Yeah.
And so, yes, if you're speaking to high school kids versus seniors, you're going to have very different images that you would use in your slides.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, what other goodies can we do with images? And talk about what about placement on a slide, and how are they stagnant, or do you do any other movement or features or positioning on them?
You always have to do positioning on them. Now, the great thing about the new Microsoft software is that it will automatically give you choices that you can use when you are creating your PowerPoint slide. So let's say I want to bring in that picture, that senior leader. The senior leader is holding up some kind of a tablet, looks very confident. Well, when I bring in that image, Microsoft is going to embed that image. That means it's not being placed on there. It's actually embedded in it. And they'll give you like 10 options that are different ways to display that image. All you got to do is click one of those options. You don't need to resize the image. You don't need to place it. You just select the one that you like the best. So they make it easy to embed the image. What is also important is that when you're putting the images in there, there are some rules. In other words, if you are putting an image on there, if the person is not looking directly at you, they need to be looking at the direction of where you have words on that slide. So if you have a title slide and you put an image on there of some person, they shouldn't be facing the opposite side of the slide. They need to be facing somewhat in the direction of where your slide words are, because it directs that attention there. People will look at that image of the person, and they're going to take that as a cue on what to look at next. But they'll look at that image first.
So what you're saying is the unwritten rule, I love unwritten rules. The unwritten rule is when a slide comes up, people, your viewers, your audience will naturally go to the image first. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
All right. And so that image then needs to flow in, whether it's, eyeballs pointing or direction or something that would be a natural element that they would then move to the right or left, wherever your words are placed. Is that correct?
That's correct. If it's not looking directly at you, it needs to look at what the words are that you're trying to highlight on that slide.
Okay.
It is an unwritten rule.
Yeah, well, I love these kind of rules. So, Jackie, do you have any thoughts about word placement? Do you vary them from slide to slide, from left to right or center, or do you have some unwritten a Jackie rule?
A Jackie rule, yes. Actually, the probably the main Jackie rule you're going to get here is don't ever do another bullet list as a list of bullets that are horizontally down the left side. You need to change all of your bullet lists into Smartart. Now, if you don't know about Smartart yet, this is really another graphics miracle that's in that new PowerPoint that will take that boring bullet list and display it in these beautiful blocks of colored graphics that make your words look even more important and more interesting.
Okay, so I love that idea. So so each line would be a different color, or what would you be doing there?
So if you think of a bullet list of 5 items down the left side, what we want to do is bulletproof that text. We want to instead move it into a Smartart. Smartart puts it in these little graphic displays. Maybe it would take 5 horizontal blocks. If you can think of 5 boxes from Tiffany's, okay, and you put them on a table right next to each other. It would kind of be in that kind of a shape, and it would automatically take the words from your bullet and put them in each of those 5 little boxes. So instead of having this boring bullet list down the left, you now have this bullet list that doesn't look like a bullet list, but it comes in looking like 5 beautiful colored boxes, small rectangular boxes with text in it. You also can add images.
Okay, so
you can add 3D.
I want you to hold that thought. We're going to take another break here because I think this is really a great idea using the Smartart. So we're going to be right back. It's AuthorU, your guide to book publishing.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Want to publish like a pro today? Well, then take a look at Ingramspark, the only publishing platform that offers print and ebook services through a single source. Upload, edit, and manage titles all in one place. Take more control of printing costs with print on demand and reach even more readers through one of the world's most extensive distribution networks. Built by independent publishers for independent publishers, Ingramspark has everything you need to maximize your book's potential: color printing, ebook distribution, print on demand, global reach, and more. Start publishing with Ingramspark today and see just how far your titles will go tomorrow. That's Ingramspark.com.
Many of us have dreamed of writing a book.
Some of us even have.
Then the hard work starts.
You'll need an editor.
Who will design the cover or typeset the pages?
Who will format the ebook?
If you're a business owner, consultant, or coach with a serious message and expertise to share, the team of experts at 1106 Design can guide you through the maze.
They've helped more than 1,000 authors create top quality books and avoid the not so reputable self-publishing companies.
Learn more at 1106design.com.
Then call Michelle at 602-866-3226. 1106 Design.
When Ned Thompson and Harry Shore started Thompson Shore in 1972, they believed employees with great character would make up the best company. They were right. They hired people who were not only experts in bookmaking, but who were obsessed with quality and delivering exceptional customer service. Almost 40 years later, Thompson Shore remains a 100% employee-owned company. Ned and Harry knew that successful customer projects are a direct result of empowered employees. We specialize in all books for large and small publishers. Creating beautiful and well-made books, we're dedicated to pleasing our customers by making the experience a good one from start to finish. The personal touch we have with our customers allows us to be innovative in solving their most difficult challenges. Our platform also ensures that we can remain flexible to meet our customers' unique needs and expectations. Our marketing kit can create buzz for your title, enhancing the promotion of your book during infancy. When you need to test the market to gauge your future sales, we can provide digitally printed books that will transition seamlessly into a larger offset run. From ebook to hard copy to delivery, our skillful customer service teams are at the ready to answer your most pressing question. At Thompson Shore, we know that making the highest quality books requires more than just best technologies. It requires superior customer service, professionalism to the trade, and commitment to environmental and social values. With these standards of excellence in place, you can be sure that we will always help you put your best book forward.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Coming up, you'll hear more about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, so here's what we're talking about. The theme of the show today is bye-bye boring slides. And with me is Dr. Jaclyn Kostner, who is really a PowerPoint magician and has always been on the leading edge of how to bring slides live, what tools are out here that you should be working with. And when we went into we just ended the last segment, that she had introduced the whole use of Smartart to replace bullets. In fact, it's bye-bye boring bullets. I guess we can add that to the list, Jaclyn. All right, so with that, let's slide back to that and get into it. And where is the Smartart? And you're talking about a different form of a different program of PowerPoint than the old one. So maybe we need to talk about upgrading PowerPoint that they might be using so they can take advantage of some of the tools you're introducing?
Absolutely. If people have not upgraded to the Office 365, they want to do it. You know, the thing when you talk about technology is it makes some people feel apprehensive, or they get a little knot in their stomach because they think, oh, now I've got to learn more technology. This is playtime. This is not really work time. It is so much fun when you get in there and you see just how easy it is to change something into something that you go, wow, I didn't think of that. That's what this technology does. It is easy for anyone to learn. That's why it's so much fun.
Well, I like
and
easy.
So with Smartart, you know, like I told you, you might have like the 5 little rectangle boxes in a single row. Well, that's just one of the variations. There are, I think, 114 variations of Smartart, and all you have to do is click on it. You have to just look at it and say, I want my bullet list to look like that diagram there. And next thing you know, your bullet list is changed, and it looks so fantastic. And then you can add with a single click a 3D effect. With a single click, you can change the colors. With a single click, you can add images. It is so easy to do when you know how to do it. So the training is all about giving people that access and helping to make this a smooth and easy journey that's a lot of fun as well.
Well, I love fun. I mean, and slides can be fun, and when they're fun for you, you know what? Your audience is going to have fun too, because you're going to wow them, and that's what's very cool. You know, you can wow them visually for what they see. You can wow them with your words as you go through. And that wow is going to bring you back, and it will, if you are talking about the topic of your expertise in your book, I'm going to guarantee it's going to support your book sales. And people will say, I want to take that home. So I think that's very cool.
You're right.
on that.
So there's
right,
only
so
one
everyone,
thing that's...
Yeah, I'm just going to say, again, everyone, if you're not using Office 365, it's time to upgrade. This is going to be your clarion call to upgrade your software to Office 365 so you can tap into the tools we're talking about.
You'll find yourself as you learn these techniques going, wow, I just did that. I mean, that's how easy it is, and that's how powerful it is. So, yeah, it's going to be one of the best investments you ever made. It's not one of these horrible technology investments that it just ties you up in knots. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. I think it's exciting. I'm excited to start playing. I mean, actually, I look at this as a play day.
It is a play day.
Yeah, I personally have so many presentations. I mean, I'm going to be, I have, after this, I'll be in Florida. I have 2 presentations in Florida after this show first airs, and I will be already manipulating and working and changing things as we go. So that's kind of cool. I'm tickled. All right.
And I am too.
All right. So what else are we going to find in this fabulous package that these tools you're talking about?
Well, a lot of people haven't learned how to work with color, and they haven't learned how to have any kind of a different template that isn't boring. With this new Microsoft, they also have flexible templates. So remember the old designs, the heading always went to the page, usually with a color block behind it, then the rest of the page was white. And that happened page after page after page, and no matter what you use, it was so boring. It was just boring. The new templating actually will automatically vary your page, so it looks like it belongs together, but every page looks different. So you might have one of your slides that has all color in the background. The next one will have the color on the left. Next one will have the color on the right. Next one might have color on the bottom. And it does this automatically depending on what your content is for that slide. But the bottom line is you don't have to have any sense of graphics to use this. What Microsoft did was they hired professional graphics artists to design these various templates that now they have an algorithm that generates them for us. But it's like having a robot to go and generate, I want these words on my title, I want this image on my title. You put it in there, then it'll give you 10 ways to display it, and all you do is click on it. So it doesn't require a lot of energy, but the impact is incredible. Flexible formatting allows you to create a beautiful original slide deck that people are going to want to look at because every page has a unique look and feel. And every page, when you add an image, has that image that is going to draw their attention in. And every page is going to have that bright, beautiful color that you're going to select that's going to call their attention in and make it look together, even though every slide looks a little bit different from the others. It's amazing. Well,
I love this idea. Now, here's a question from an old timer. I'm an old PowerPoint. I'm a PowerPoint old timer here. I'm sitting with a boatload of presentations. Do I have to start everything over from scratch, or can I import and we start manipulating on the new Office? There.
Yeah, that is a great question. When you can open a new PowerPoint and select your template, they have like 46 templates you can choose from that are basic templates. And then once you open it, you can go back to your old deck and copy it and then paste it into the new deck. Now, you're going to have to do some refining with it because if you have images in the old deck, you've got to reapply the images so that the new software knows where to put them and what it gives you a beautiful display. But the text that you've already done, whatever is there, all that imports, and it's all done automatically.
All right. So will it carry over the image in there that you could work with it, or is it going to say, it's time to upgrade your images too?
Well, it's always time to upgrade your images. I present all the time all over the world in webinars and face-to-face, and I like to use fresh images because it keeps me energized as well as my audience. So if you want to bring in old images, it really depends on the size of it. But when you are working with some of these background images that you can actually put an image in the background of some of your title slides or content slides. And for those, you need a larger image than you probably have in that former slide. You can try to paste it in, but it might get a little bit fuzzy. So if you have the original picture, you'd want to bring that original picture back in, and it'll work just fine.
Okay, so everyone
it could work fine with your old images, but what I would do is I would probably find a new image, or I would go back to the original old image and bring it in again.
All right, so here's what I'm going to recommend. If you all who are listening do not have a special folder in your picture folder or whatever you call it on your computer, you need to have one. And my suggestion is you have folders within the folders, and that's where your categories go in. And that's how I track things and going back in. But I must have a couple of thousand images I've used over the years. And so this is the time to go back and revisit. But there are some that are absolutely apropos that would be perfect to bring in. So this sounds like fun to me.
Well, it's playtime. Like I told you, it really is a lot of fun. When you start adding in animations and morphs, this is something that is new, and transitions and bringing in even small movies, you can do so many wonderful things. The objective is, if we want to make the sale of our books, we are the ones that are responsible for generating that momentum. Your presentation has to be fabulous. It's got to be constructed well, delivered well, but make your slides match that. They've got to be wonderful and engaging so that people will want to pay attention and then go out and buy your book as soon as your presentation's over. They'll tell all their friends, too.
Well, they will, and that's what makes the difference, and both Jacqueline and I have presented globally with stages that are huge and some that are very small. And it really is, what we're talking about is really, to me, it's elementary. I think that any speaker has to be prepared that all technology can, just disappear. You never know what's going to happen. One time I had to present in candlelight because a hurricane went through and there was no power. But by God, we did the program. And so you have to learn. So you know what? The computer and the projector and nothing would work. So I was the PowerPoint presentation. But you can
That's
do
really
that.
Funny.
Well, Baton Rouge. I can't believe this hour is going so fast, but we're going to come up to our final break. And I want, I love the idea of some of the things that are coming along. I'm going to be a user of this new 360. We're back with Dr. Jacqueline Costner.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
The book shepherding concept is simple. The publishing world is changing, and so must you. You need an experienced shepherd and a guide to partner with you as you create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve your publishing goals. You can't do it alone without paying the price. You can spend your money creating a book that turns out to be so-so, or you can create a book that looks and feels classy, builds your brand, and is a financial success, a bestseller. It's your choice. You choose. You need the book shepherd. Publishing is riddled with obstacles, sometimes nightmares for the author. You don't need problems. You want solutions. Dr. Judith Briles will shepherd you through the maze and the chaos. At times, she's had to step in and rescue a book that has been sabotaged by a publisher or by a publishing service provider or sometimes even the author themselves. Judith Briles is the book shepherd if you want to create a book with no regrets. Give her a call today. 303-885-2207. That's 303-885-2207, or email her at judith@briles.com. By the way, Briles is spelled B-R-I-L-E-S. Follow Judith on Twitter at MyBookShepherd and on Facebook at The Book Shepherd.
One of the most important decisions you will ever make is your choice for printing your book. You are choosing a company which will be responsible for guiding you through the process and printing your book at a level of quality and detail that embraces your personal and creative needs. You want to choose a company that when your book finally arrives, you are delighted and ready to move on to the next level, and one that is customer focused. Choose King Printing Company and Addy Books to be that company that brings you to the next level. Go to kingprinting.com or call 978-458-2345 and ask for Tom Campbell.
At Total Printing Systems, customer service is our priority. We are located in Southern Illinois. Our employees have an average of 18 years experience and know that customer relationships are important to our continued success. We have been a short-run book printer for nearly 40 years and always stay at the forefront of technology. Our niche is from 1 to 5,000 copies. Today, we offer digital, black and white, and 4-color high-speed inkjet printing, a cost-effective way to introduce color into your short-run titles. We, of course, offer traditional offset printing as well. Bindery is done in-house, from adhesive case binding to PUR perfect binding to mechanical binding of all types, including side sewing. We provide warehousing, kitting, distribution, inventory management, a new print-on-demand facility, streaming browser-based ebooks, and bookstore. Call us at 1-800-465-5200 for a quote on your next book project. You can also visit our website at www.tps1.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
We're talking about slide makeovers today. And with me is Dr. Jaclyn Kostner. She is a PowerPoint magician. She is you can find her. Her website is bridgethedistance.com. And she is actually we're going to be doing a special webinar coming up here. And you can find it on thebookshepherd.com. Just click on my events tab and then click over to register for it. And it will be on October, it's in October. It's going to be at this month, and we will certainly have it available for replay, which is always a good thing. And so you won't be lost. And I'm going to tell you it's going to be on the 24th of October. And you want to, I believe it's the 24th. I'm hoping it's the 24th, yes, of October. Yeah. And it's going to be at 5:00 Mountain Time, so adjust for your various zones. And we're going to be talking about this phenomenal online course that she has created to really walk you through step by step, baby steps, step by step, through this whole process of morphing what you're doing. And the result will be you're going to be energized. You'll make a much better presentation. You will connect with your audiences. There will be just unbelievable engagement on that part. And the result for you is that whatever you're offering, whether it's consulting or your expertise or books, you're going to sell that. You're going to sell that. So that's the home run for that. So go to thebookshepherd.com. and register, click on the events tab, register for the webinar we're doing on the 24th. And even if you can't attend live, register so then we can notify you of the replay when it will be available to you the next morning. And Jaclyn will have an offer, and I'm going to go ahead and give you the website for that because you're going to be able to do the whole online course for $299. And if you just write this down, I'll say it slowly, bit.ly/PowerPoint Judith. That will bring you into the special offering, and there's some few bonuses with that. All right, with that said, commercial's over. I want to get back into kissing on Jackie was talking about color, and I keep slipping to Jackie. Jackie's an old-time friend, so, we do that kind of thing. The use of color, the whole makeover, making your slides, your presentation current, today, contemporary, and not yesteryears. And she also talks about, and we haven't even got into it, but I think it's really important, about brain appeal, what Jaclyn calls brain appeal. So, Jaclyn, I'm going to throw the mic back to you. So let's get into what is brain appeal and why is it important and how do we tap into it?
Well, brain appeal is the art and the science of how to engage the brain, particularly as it relates to PowerPoint slides, in my case. And so rather than just randomly trying to do your own graphics, particularly if you're not trained, we're going to tell you exactly what to change in the way that you are putting your slides together, and PowerPoint's going to take care of the rest. But remember, we're using slides not just for face-to-face like Judith just talked about, but webinars, videos, podcasts, websites, SlideShare, flipbooks, all different kinds of ways. It is the language of business, and we all must upgrade our skills. Brain appeal says the left side of the brain, to get people, those that are really heavily left brain, they want short bullet lists, not more than 5 bullets and 5 words each. They want only key facts and statistics. They do not want really complex charts and graphs and what all. And they do love to see a memorable quote. So if you have some kind of person that you quote, you want to put those words on a single slide by itself. People with left brain, you'll have their attention. They'll love it. But the right brain is really where the magic is. The right brain is engaged by colors and shapes. That's why you don't want to use grays and, horrible gray-greens and whites. You want to have beautiful colors like purple, green, red, yellow, bright blues. And color, as you'll learn in the training, can really set a mood for your presentation that becomes really important. They also want to see pictures, particularly of human faces. And like I told you, a picture on just about every single slide. That picture is magnetic. Brains instantly want to look at it. They instantly relate to it, and it allows you to send that emotional part of whatever you're talking about to your audience. It gives you that backdrop. And the third is they want to see simplified graphics. They love Smartart because Smartart forces us to use fewer words and gives us lots of ways that we can put color and images together in a Smartart. It's really magic in engaging your audience. You know what else about this that's so important is that when you are taking the time to really design your slides with brain appeal, it shows your audience that you care. It shows that you care that they are engaged. You care that they get the message. You've taken a lot of care in putting it together so that you and they will be successful. And that's why it works so great for all of us. Everyone needs this skill.
Oh, I love that. I mean, it's so important what you're saying, that multi-brain engagement, really. So you do tap in because, as you know, that every audience is a mix. There are some people that are really right brain. There are some people that are really left brain. There are some people that just happy dance with all of them. And this way you really take care of everybody, which is what you want to do. So that's exciting.
That's part of the design. We want to do the things on the slide that engage the brain. If they engage the brain, we engage them, of course.
Yes, that would be a good thing. And, I don't hear very many people talking about this kind of thing, actually, on their type of presentations. They always, they do different things. But really those visuals to do the brain appeal, besides having just decent slides, that have the information on it is always important, but really the brain appeal, I think, is going to be the home run. So, Jaclyn, let's just say that you're a newbie. We're really newbie. What would be the 3 to 5 steps in our last few minutes here that a person who is either going to do a repurposing of all their slides, that would be moi, or someone who is just starting out brand spanking new?
Here's what I would say. Number 1, go get Office 365. And I don't make any commission off of this. This all goes to Microsoft. But I think an annual home license is only $79 a year. It's really cheap. or you can pay it by the month. It's like under $10 a month. It is worth every penny for the power it gives you to create beautiful slides and the speed in which you can create those slides. So number one, that's a requirement. Number two is you need to learn how to make it graphically interesting. So I'm going to say you need to take the course on graphic secrets for eye-popping PowerPoint videos. As anybody goes through business today, PowerPoint is ubiquitous. We use it for everything in every location, like the webinars and videos and things I talked about earlier. It is important that we not waste a minute getting ourselves up to speed so we look good, we present well, and we are successful. The third thing is, I would just say, create a file of all of your any kind of royalty-free images that you have. Be very careful that you are not just going on the web and saying, hey, I love that image, I'm just going to take it and use it. You might end up getting sued. I know 2 people that have gotten sued, $1,000 each for using images they didn't have the rights to. There are lawyers that troll for that. So you want to either have the rights through pixabay.com or through, there are several other things that we cover in the training where you can get it, or get a license. I have found that I don't mind paying $3 an image because the images from the professional sites like Shutterstock and Adobe Stock and what all are such high quality with professionally paid models. The pictures are just extraordinary. Come to the webinar and you'll be able to see what I mean when you get in there and see what some of these images look like. They're breathtaking. And so I would say make a file of those and keep those so you know you have the rights to them. I guess those would be the top 3 things. The fourth is, I think the bottom line is, we're talking about PowerPoint today, but really it is all about us. It's how we show up. You know, we used to worry about what kind of clothing do we wear and what does our hair look like and things like that. I'll tell you, today we're in so many different venues, your slides are a big part of that picture. And so you need to show up looking like you either hired a professional or that you've got those skills yourself, because that's what it's going to take to get them to put those mobile phones down and pay attention to you and your presentation.
So as we close out our last few seconds, that with the new slide, the new visual brain appeal presentation, that you are the antidote for people who are mobile attached. How's that sound?
Can I say just one quick thing?
Yeah, we have 10 seconds. Yeah, 10 seconds here.
Okay, I remember one presentation. I was so happy to be the 4th speaker that day because the previous 3 all gave these boring bullets, and they were so boring, nobody was paying attention. Then I gave mine, and everybody lit up, and everybody's sitting up in their seats, and everybody's enjoying it and laughing and doing that. That's what you want, and that's what this is going to do for you.
And that's the home run you're looking for. Thank you, Jaclyn Kostner. We'll look forward to having you on the webinar in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Judith.
Thank you.
Hey, Jaclyn, I'm going to